Hey, I'm Alex Rockwell. It's been a while since the last one, but I just released my latest exercise book. This is it. It's called The UnCAGED System. Part 1. I'm going to tell you about it, but in the interest of being productively lazy, I'm going to read the preface rather than write myself a script where I'm basically saying the same thing. It'll give you the picture. What is the UnCAGED System? The UnCAGED System is a tongue-in-cheek title that seeks to poke fun at the manner in which the caged system presents itself as a revolutionary method of approaching harmony on the guitar. What is the caged system? Even if you haven't heard of it, I would be surprised if you weren't at least somewhat familiar with the concepts behind it. The basic idea is that you can take the 5 open major chord shapes, C, A, G, E, and D, and turn them into movable bar chord shapes, allowing you to play pretty much any major chord in a number of ways. From here, you can then turn them into their minor counterparts, add sevenths, etc. This is all great, and I would be lying to you if I told you I don't use its principles to visualize chord voicings up and down the neck, at least to some degree. My only beef with it is that it's last year's model with a new sticker. The earliest mention of it in a publication was in a 1975 issue of Guitar Player magazine based on the guitar instruction of Keith Allen of the Blue Bear School of Music. Since then, it has evolved into a guitar hack for people to make money off of. But the thing is, the idea of movable bar chord shapes has been around literally as long as the 6-string guitar has existed. We're talking since the early 1800s. Play any music from the likes of Fernando Sor, Mauro Giuliani, Matteo Carcazzi, Ferdinando Carulli, et al., and you will see these ideas being employed in their music. Except they weren't calling it the caged system. They simply understood the lay of the guitar fingerboard, and they understood the musical styles and idioms of their time. And that raises the question, do we need a system at all? The caged system is really an intermediary step between understanding theory and understanding the guitar. Is this really necessary? Do we need to have a subsystem to get us from understanding how a major chord is constructed in the general musical sense to playing major chords on the guitar? Is the caged system not just a middleman that removes some of the need to intimately understand the neck of the guitar? I think it only becomes that way if you allow it to happen. I can't tell you how many guitarists I've interacted with who know the notes on the E and A strings very well, but couldn't tell you the notes on the other 4 strings without needing to think hard about it. The reason is because they're so used to finding the roots of their chords and plugging in caged shapes, or more specifically E and A shapes, they're not even using caged to its fullest, and then not bothering to pay attention to the other notes in the chords. Quite ironic, considering the caged system is often sold as a way to break out of boxes when all it does is create them, if you let it. For many, it becomes a shortcut. And what happens if you shortcut your learning? You find yourself with years of experience and tons of gaps in your knowledge. As a teacher, I see it all the time. All the time. But like I said before, I myself use the principles of the caged system in my playing. I'm not advocating against it. I'm merely suggesting that you don't skip the vital step of studying what it is you're actually playing when you plop down a chord shape. Whenever I go to play a chord, I can recall the shape of it on the neck before I play it, but I'm also aware of every note in the chord. What the notes themselves are, their degrees in the chord structure. Where's the root, where's the third, where's the fifth? And perhaps most importantly, how each sounds in the context of the overall harmony. The homework assignment. When I was a sophomore in college, I had to take a class called Fretboard Harmony. One of the first homework assignments was to come up with as many ways as we could to play a C major chord and write them down. I came up with probably 25 different ways, and there's a lot more than that. Whenever I start working with a new student and they express a desire to know the fretboard better, I always give them the same assignment. It opens doors to bigger conversations, but it also forces them to go hunting for notes all over the neck. What's the criteria here? A C major chord contains the notes C, E, and G. All you need to do is find any which way you can grab all 3 of those notes. Doubling at the octave is allowed, but not required. Inversions are fair game. That's it. Go nuts. By doing this, you'll certainly make discoveries. This book is inspired by that assignment. It won't teach you every possible way to play every chord, but the exercises contained within aim to teach you deeply about harmonic structure using the fretboard as the backdrop. This is not the caged system. This is the uncaged system. Again, joke title. And then there's some more stuff where I talk about nomenclature and how to approach the material. But basically, this book is the first in a series of fretboard harmony studies. The goal is to help you deeply understand chord structure and how those structures manifest themselves on the guitar. With that knowledge, it will steer you towards being able to voice any chord around the neck in countless ways without being limited to a handful of stock chord shapes, which of course grants you a greater level of creative and expressive freedom in your playing. Who doesn't want that? This book is part 1, and it's just focused on triads. All the triads. Future books in the series will focus on placing them in musical context, as well as 7th chords and placing those in context. It's available as a PDF, or you can buy the print version, and the PDF will be included with your purchase if you want it. That's it. If you buy one, thanks in advance. I hope you enjoy working out of it, and I'm always happy to receive feedback if you feel so inclined to share. Happy practicing.